Hey ladies, today is Sunday, September 12th, 2021, 24 weeks and 5 days pregnant, second pregnancy. So just wanted to give an update on what's going on now. So I think for me, as I've been saying throughout this entire pregnancy, this pregnancy is definitely different than my first in a lot of ways. When I was pregnant the first time, I don't know, like I had so much more energy. I felt like I was going to work every day. I was going out to work every day. Right now I'm still working from home, but I was going out to work every day. Um I don't know how I did it. Cuz if I think about this pregnancy, I'm like, how could I go out to work every day? Oh my gosh. I don't know, maybe there's this laziness that I've developed since I haven't been going out to work for like the last, more than a year and a half. But um it is weird. So this pregnancy has been like, I've been a lot sicker. So first of all, I'm 24 weeks is 6 months pregnant. So I'm officially 6 months pregnant. This, I will say, this pregnancy has gone by quicker than the other one for some reason. I don't know if it's the working from home, the pandemic, what it is, but for some reason, like this, just days go by quicker. And because of that, this pregnancy has just like gone by so much quicker. And so, 6 months pregnant, but I still have morning sickness. And it's not as bad as it was in the beginning when, like earlier on when it was for me it was really bad. But it's still like I'll still get nauseous. It mainly happens in the evening time, so I'm not sure what that's about. But I still get nauseous and really nauseous, and I'll still, vomit occasionally, not that much, but still, these are things that in my first pregnancy um, didn't happen. Like, I did have morning sickness in my first pregnancy. It wasn't as bad as it is in this pregnancy, nowhere near. It was more nausea. I think I vomited maybe twice in that pregnancy. And then by the time I hit like 14, 15 weeks, it was completely gone. And I was not nauseous again until actually giving birth when I was in labor. But a lot of things happen in labor. But when I was in labor, I got really nauseous in the midst of it. And there was like some vomiting attached to that. But I was actually told that that was normal and not uncommon to happen. But just with the fact that this nausea keeps hanging on is weird. So I think I'm so thankful for the Zofran that I have that my doctor prescribed, because that really does help me um, more than anything that I've tried. Like, so and not only does it help, it's pretty quick acting, and so that's been a godsend. And I find myself taking it at night when I get nauseous, but occasionally maybe I don't take it early enough, or it just didn't get the opportunity to work in my system. I don't know. It just doesn't always do the job, but 8 out of 10 times it does. And that's good enough. Um, but I am shocked to be 6 months pregnant and still having morning sickness. So, um, yeah. Every pregnancy is different, they say. So this one's definitely been different than my first. Also, with the pelvic pain, it hasn't gotten worse. It did start a lot earlier this time, but I'm trying to do a lot more prenatal yoga and prenatal specific exercises to kind of really work on strengthening the pelvic floor muscles. I think it helps. I think it helps. I can say that it's not perfect. For me, it hasn't been perfect. I don't know if anything would be, but I'm definitely trying to work on strengthening those muscles because, I mean, those muscles are pretty important. not just for pregnancy, carrying the weight of the baby, um, which hasn't even gotten most of his weight yet. You know, it doesn't happen until like later, second, third trimester. And and for delivery, for pushing, those muscles are important. But after having nothing to do with babies or pregnancy, you know, um, restoring those muscles are important for, like, you know, not having bladder leaks and things like that. So I want to make sure that I can strengthen them, because it started with the first pregnancy. Again, it wasn't as bad, but the second pregnancy seemed to have taken more of a toll on my pelvic floor muscles, just because I would have like pain all in that area. But you know, other than that, I guess it's been okay. The other two other issues that I'm like dealing with now is constipation. That has always been my last pregnancy. I struggled with constipation. This one was no different in that regard. So I definitely have been struggling still with constipation, and it's really, um, you know, if you're uncomfortable in all these other ways, and then to be constipated is definitely doesn't help. So it's really annoying, but I try to really keep a high fiber diet. You know, but that doesn't always work. And so when that doesn't work, which I'm finding more and more lately that is not working, I will take milk of magnesia. That works the best for me. I did, at one point, I was incorporating Metamucil into my diet, but even with that, it didn't seem to like really make the difference that I needed it to make. And so the milk of magnesia, I'll take that if it really gets bad, and that seems to help. So I'm hoping that continues to help. And so that is my constipation cure. It's not really it's not really the best thing. Well, I guess there's nothing wrong with taking milk of magnesia, but I'm finding myself taking it like needing or feeling like I'm needing it more often. And so I've taken it like once a week for the last 3 weeks. And so I don't like to do that. I like to like keep my diet. Hopefully my diet can, you know, keep things moving once the milk of magnesia gets them moving. But finding like, you know, it's, you know, stopping more often. So yeah, TMI. Sorry, but you know, I try to keep it real on what's going on. Not just the fun parts of pregnancy, I guess, if there are any, but just what you know I experience. And I think I don't want to say it's the worst part. It isn't really that bad. It hasn't become that bad. So I have been having swelling in my ankles and feet a little bit lately. And that's not uncommon. It's actually very common at this point to have swelling in your ankles, feet, and even you might feel in your hands. If you wear rings, you might feel your rings aren't fitting. I mean, that's all that does happen. Um, you know, another fun part of pregnancy. So sometimes women can't wear the shoes that they usually wear, and that didn't happen to me. I had last time I didn't have to necessarily buy pregnancy specific shoes, but I did have swelling in my legs and feet, um, worse than what I have now. But I also think it was like a little later in the pregnancy. So you can wear compression socks or stockings or whatever feels comfortable to you, and that tends to help with me for me. So it's really all about being comfortable at this point. Like, if you know, for me, it's all about being comfortable. That's my main objective. Is like, what can I do to make myself more comfortable while I am, you know, pregnant? And then once I have the baby, I'm sure my staying comfortable is still going to be mainly on my mind for a bit. Um, because there's, you know, I have a 2-year old too as well. So, you know, a toddler and a newborn yeah, I'm just trying to be comfortable so I can not go crazy. So I'm trying to potty train my 2 year old. I've been trying to potty train her for a little bit now. I kind of started when she was 18 months old, but honestly, I wasn't consistent because um, I just wasn't for whatever reason. And then, so we slowly started then, and as she got a little older, I was like, I introduced her to the potty at 18 months, but I wasn't consistent with like making sure she was on it. So now we're like trying to be really, really consistent. And being really consistent started when she was 2, which she turned 2 in July. So, but she's very stubborn. And she doesn't like to go to the potty, and she doesn't like to sit on the potty. And I'm not really sure why. I'm still trying to figure this one out. I know there are things and methods that people use with like 3-day potty training where you let them pee and poop all over themselves for 3 days, but at the end of the 3 days, they're supposed to be completely potty trained. I have not resorted to that method yet. I'm not saying I won't, but I have not resorted to that method. And there's a whole book about it. So, I may not have described it completely accurately. So, if you're interested in that method, definitely Google. There's different, 3 days, 4 days, whatever. But if there's supposed to be a 3-day method, I haven't tried it. We've been just putting her on the potty fairly often throughout the day, letting her sit there for 5 to 10 minutes, and then, praising her if she does something. And if she doesn't get scolded or anything. She just doesn't get praised. It just is what it is. Like, we try to make a big deal out of her doing something, which rarely happens. So if she pees or poos in the potty, she's like, oh my gosh, like we make it like super exciting for her. I don't know, maybe not exciting enough because she's still not motivated to do it. But I wanted to have her potty trained before this baby was born. I don't know if that's going to happen. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. She's very stubborn and headstrong, and a lot of times doesn't even want to sit on the potty. So we'll see. Anyway, that's my update. I hope everyone is well and staying safe. And I have no more side effects to report from the COVID-19 vaccine. I had both doses. It's been 2 weeks since my last dose, so I am technically fully vaccinated now. I haven't, I did get more nausea after my first dose, but I don't know if that had anything to do with the vaccine or just, my crazy pregnancy. So the two can be completely unrelated. And I had body aches for 1 day after my second dose. But other than that, and I did get some nausea after the second dose. But again, that can be completely pregnancy. Other than that, I don't have any real side effects to talk about other than the soreness in my arm. So thankfully, it seemed to be safe in that regard. But we'll see what time, only time can tell. Everything worked out. So, but I did do it. So I am happy that I did it. Honestly, I am really happy that I did it. I feel like I did everything that I can do to protect myself and, my family. So that's all we can do. I did it. Like, best thing they say, the best thing we can do is the vaccine. Did it. My husband did it months ago. So, so here we are. Anyway, I'll continue to keep you updated. Hope everyone is well. Stay safe.